Hey, Pat the Patriarchy here. As always, all hail the patriarchy. If this is your first time watching or listening to one of my videos, then please subscribe or like and comment if you want to. If you don't want to, then get the fuck out of here. Don't waste my time. Jesus, cock tease. But if you do, leave down in the comments, say, let me see what I want to do this time. Kiss me on my fat fucking lips, patriarchy. If you subscribe after watching this video, put down in the comments, kiss me on my fat fucking lips, patriarchy. And that way I know you subscribed. It'll make me feel great about myself. So please. And I want to kiss you on your fat fucking lips. They look beautiful. So anyway, I'm here to talk about a really fucked up thing I read. In my opinion, it's really fucked up. It may not be to you guys. This is kind of a response to this whole issue that's been going on with Lena Dunham now for a while, where every time she says anything, like recently with Odell Beckham Jr., the first attack she gets from anyone, including myself, is that she's pretty much a child molesting pig, a pervert. Her work speaks for itself in the way she comes across, and I once again will say this, and I've said it many times: if a man did any of the things Lena's done, or said, or written about, he would be just completely shunned by all the people who embrace and defend Lena. And if a man did the exact same things, they only let her get away with this stuff because she's a woman. The only reason feminism hasn't completely kicked her out is because she's a woman. Because basically she started a show that was supposed to be the, like, fuck yeah, this is going to change body image, how people see naked women, and my fat, flobby, disgusting body is going to be what every guy wants to fuck. Look, Adam Driver's having sex with me. He's going to be Kylo Ren one day. That poor bastard. He had like a casting couch situation with that show. I bet he had to have sex with Lena all the time to be on that show. Poor bastard. It's sad. And I only say that because I think Lena's that fucked up in the head to do something like that. She's a really, really fucked up person. I would not support a man who says and does the things Lena does. So I'm not being hypocritical here. I seriously am very grossed out by her, and I think she has serious issues that need to be addressed. And her complete obliviousness to this. Like, she doesn't even seem to be aware that she comes off bad. She's like doesn't she has this oblivious nature about everything she does. Like, she'll say something and then she'll get called out for it, and then she'll be like, "Oh, I didn't mean it that way, sorry." And then she tries to turn around and apologize when she does something really shitty. Even the thing with Odell Beckham Jr. recently, she comes out later and apologizes after her first apology was incredibly condescending. It's like, how many fucking times do you have to hear it, Lena? Like, shut up, please. Oh my god. I mean, she's one of the direct reasons stuff like feminism and social issues and women's rights aren't taken seriously, because you cannot be taken seriously when you have someone like Lena out there putting herself with all these movements and groups. Like, she puts her name out there everywhere. At least with Amy Schumer, who I don't like, she's, a professional comedian and had been in a hit movie, and, she has the success and time put into this to really kind of earn where she's at in that role. She's a very successful female comedian. Lena Dunham's show wasn't a hit. Girls didn't have good ratings. It just had great reviews for about one season, and then if you go look up the reviews, Girls got worse reviews season by season. Everybody got over Lena. She was only popular for about a year. Now she gets to be in Taylor Swift videos because Taylor Swift is so brave. Now, this is a bostonreview.net, I will put the link in the description, as I always do, article, where they are trying to defend Lena's pedophilia. They have this great picture of her with, in the window, and "Respect our neighbors, quiet please," which I'm assuming is from Girls. I can't remember every image from Girls. I did watch the majority of that show, though. So I don't just talk about that show or Lena out of nowhere. I have read her book. I have seen her movie, and I watched the majority of Girls. I don't think I saw every episode, but I watched the first 3 seasons, and then I watched parts of the last 2. Okay, here it is. This is by Adrian Cabrero. By now you know the story. Lena Dunham, writer, filmmaker, and creator of the HBO mega hit Girls. I love they say mega hit. The show never even had 1 million viewers an episode up in a point in the series. Like, it had horrible ratings. It was one of HBO's lowest rated shows. So I love how they say mega hit. Like, Girls wasn't a big hit. This was something the media kept trying to push for years, that everyone was watching Girls and it was affecting culture. And it was one of those shows that had no significance on any of that. It was just used for, memes and stuff on BuzzFeed. But really, the biggest thing to come from Girls is Adam Driver. That's the biggest thing to come from Girls as the male actor on the show. Nothing that Lena did on that show has made an impact anywhere. Um, so I don't know where they always try to state that, which makes me think immediately these articles like, let's defend her, writes in her memoir, not that kind of girl about vaginas. Yeah, what a wonderful memoir. That just like Augustine Burroughs, you're amazing. Specifically about her sister's vagina. Lena is 7 and curious, as girls of 7 are. She asks her mother if her little sister Grace's vagina looks like her own. I guess so, Mom says, just smaller. Lena's curiosity is not sated. Playing later with Grace, she pries the 1-year-old's tiny labia apart, only to discover, to her horror, a cache of pebbles. She cries out. Mother flies to the rescue. Grace cackles happily. No scolding ensues, just extraction of the pebbles. File under sexual curiosity, child parental reaction, appropriate. International Review's roving correspondent Kevin D. Williamson, inside those shiny pink dome rolls a lava of contempt for, among others, African Americans. He compares a 9-year-old black boy to a primate. Transsexuals, actress Laverne Cox is an effing of a woman, and women who have abortions, hang 'em. And recently, Lena Dunham, having been gunning for her since the memoir's publication, he sets out to prosecute Dunham, or rather, the child Lena, as a sex offender. His indictments include casually masturbating while in bed next to her younger sister, which she did do. She did casually sit next to her younger sister and masturbate for years. This wasn't just like when she was 7. She did this for, I think, 10 years in the book. She masturbates next to her sister's body all the time and writes about it. Bribing Grace with 3 pieces of candy if I could kiss her on the lips for 5 seconds. Yes, which she does more than once. And of course the vagina incident. The coup de grace is Dunham's confession of a pattern of predation. This was within the spectrum of things I did. Conservative blog Truth Revolt picks up Williams' rant, posts the whole passage from Dunham's book, lets the reader misinterpret or giggle at the text. The headline spells out the revolting truth. Lena Dunham describes sexually abusing her little sister. I've read this book and I've read those passages, and it's, to say creepy is an understatement. You're underselling it. This article's really trying to defend Lena without going into more detail about the book. This isn't just some right-wing criticism, which Lena says here in the tweets they put up. The right-wing news story that I molested my little sister isn't just LOL. It's really fucking upsetting and disgusting. No, it's upsetting and disgusting that you wrote a book with a complete lack of self-awareness about how fucked up the things you're talking about are. If I described grabbing my little brother's penis and looking at it to see if it was like my own, and if I masturbated beside my little brother or sister for years, and if I bribed them to kiss me, and she even coerced her sister at one point to let her sit on top of her. I mean, stuff like that. Very creepy behavior. This from the woman who, once again, father did nothing but paint vagina paintings for his entire career. He just paints vaginas. These weird abstract vagina paintings. I'm going to say there's some creepiness in this household. I'm not one to judge sexual boundaries, but also let's not forget Lena outed her sister a few years ago, or recently, where her sister was uncomfortable with it. She didn't want it to be outed. She doesn't care about her sister's privacy at all. That's the problem with Lena. She doesn't respect boundaries or anything like that. She's very aggressive and perverted. Like I said, if a man wrote or did any of these things, nobody would write an article trying to defend that. That's insane. I mean, this went into her teenage years. She was creepy towards her sister, incestuous for a long time. I don't think that's normal behavior. I didn't have incidents like that. And by the way, if you were a little kid and you never looked at another little kid's vagina, well, congrats to you. Yeah, Lena. I think maybe I saw another girl's vagina when I was a little kid, but she wasn't my sister. And I certainly didn't pursue it. It just kind of happened. I wasn't curious. Usually this is stuff I could ignore, but demean sufferers don't twist my words. Back the fuck up, bros. Oh, Lena, back the fuck up. And so on a rage spiral, she admits. Supporters rally, but versions of the phrase, Lena Dunham molesting her sister, scatter across the web. Wow, at Lena Dunham tells a disturbing story about molesting her younger sister and then has the audacity to be upset at other people's horror. This is what Lena always does. Once again, the Odell Beckham Jr. incident, anything she does, we call her out, she gets like, oh, fuck you guys, and then she apologizes. Watch here, she does this exact thing here. I read you those tweets, right, and then guess what? She's going to apologize. That's what she always does. In Salon, Carolyn Edgar defends her with faintly less damning psychoanalysis. Dunham may not be a molester, Edgar writes. She is merely troubling, averse to adult reflection on her life, her upbringing, or the effect of her actions may have had on the people around her. Yeah, that's the thing. She has no adult... she's really not aware of it. She doesn't seem to think that these things are problems that may affect her. Like, Lena completely embraces the freaky sexual side to herself. It's in the show. She has a lot of creepy incidents in the show with her character that, once again, I think if a man did the thing she does in that show, under the context of her character, of who our character is, you'd be like, this is the creepiest guy in a TV show ever. I mean, it's so creepy. Okay, Cat George offers a morsel of sanity, noting that everything Dunham did is normal child development. I'm not sure I agree with that. Grace assures everybody that she is not now and has never been a victim. Okay, Grace, you don't feel like a victim. That's fine. That's good for you. But what your sister did is still really disturbing, and we can still comment on it. Dunham threatens to sue Truth Revolt. She cancels, stops on her book tour. She cancels, stops on her book tour. Of course she does. Then she apologizes. Here it fucking is. Childhood sexual abuse is a life-shattering event for so many, and I have been vocal about the rights of survivors. She writes in Time, if the situations described in my book have been painful or triggering for the people to read, I am sorry, as that was never my intention. She expresses remorse for joking about child molesters. Yeah. And then this, victory to the haters. This isn't a victory. This just proves what we felt. Once again, Lena was narcissistic. She couldn't admit she did something wrong. She couldn't even be self-reflective. And then she tries to apologize and play it off like she cares. She does this every fucking time. She always backtracks. You can't trust this woman. There's always 2 or 3 versions of how she feels things. She doesn't change her mind. She just can't deal with the huge wave of criticism. Why are we even debating whether a 7-year-old child was a child molester? Because she wasn't just 7. This went on longer than that. Why are you ignoring this, Boston Review? This didn't just happen once. The short answer, our collective fantasy that pedophiles lurk behind every bush amidst the specter of second graders on tricycles trolling the neighborhoods for infants to satisfy their prepubescent lust. The longer answer lies as usual in history. In the early 1980s, the hallucination that birthed the current pedophile delusion that is of satanic ritual abusers invading the preschools was taking hold. Okay, fuck you. You're really trying to spin this. Nobody thinks what Lena did was wrong because we're stuck in this 80s, 90s satanic panic, you know, like the West Memphis 3 type bullshit. Like, that is not what... We do not live in that kind of culture anymore. It's not burned into our brains to assume that. There's a lot more to this article. You guys can read it because I'm not going to fucking read it all. This huge paragraphs from psychologists and people like that where they're trying to break down satanic abuse and somehow they're trying to connect this all to defend Lena. I mean, this is a lot of bullshit. This goes out of the way to try and justify this. I mean, it's really effing long. So, I don't want to read all that. Basically, I just was so confused that they defended this. You know, let's see. And then there are those who avoid detection by self-diagnosing and prescribing stringent self-surveillance of desires that may be utterly normative. Some of these kids find their way to virtuous pedophiles. An online self-help community supporting abstinence from sexual activity with minor-age partners. I self-diagnosed myself as a non-contact pedophile in 1979 when I was 23 years old. I've been struggling with my feelings since I was 11. Dunham is the rare young woman who is not ashamed of her imperfect body. She's not ashamed of it, but she wants everyone else to fucking care. And she sure does put it out a lot for someone who's not ashamed of it. Like, oh, I love my body. I don't know, you seem pretty insecure when you find any excuse to get naked on every fucking episode of Girls. She loves her family. She is witty. I'll debate you on that witty one. Original? No. Nothing Lena does is original. It's basically just a rip-off of old Woody Allen stuff that he's been doing forever. It's basically the girl version of Woody Allen. Even the perverted stuff is lesser Woody Allen. I mean, he's already covered all this shit. And it's been covered in literature before that. I don't. Lena Dunham is just another, like, Noah Baumbach type where she just rips off Woody Allen. I like some Noah Baumbach movies, but she's just basically one of those young New York directors who caters to a certain kind of upper class white person crowd with their movies. And proudly feminist, even though she's a horrible representative for the feminist community. The Camusi, baby. The community. I'm sorry I'm talking like such an idiot today, God. I think I drank too much fucking coffee and it's making me talk like Tweak on South Park. She did funny, sexy things with her intimates when she was little. So did I. So I imagine did you. Well, thank you for projecting that on me. No, I did not do sexual things with my sister when I was a kid. If anyone needs to apologize, it is not she, rather her attackers. Oh, no, 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 no. Yeah, let's apologize for attacking her for writing a book that goes into detail about doing weird things with her sister and makes jokes about them. Or she plays games with her sister. Okay, sure. And the people who gave them the psychological ammunition to attack her should be ashamed of their dirty minds and their dangerous impulses. Our dangerous impulses? I think that Lena's dangerous impulses are much worse, and I think they've carried over to her adult life, and the content on her show